Good evening, boys and ghouls. You have tuned into the Killer Countdown, brought to you by Backlot 605. Each week, two horror fanatics rank the best that the horror genre has to offer. Grab your popcorn and your kitchen knife and get ready for the Killer Countdown.
Welcome to the Killer Countdown. I am one of your hosts for this episode. Your only host for this episode, because Blake is stepping into the ring to take on our other co-host, Sam Lenz, in this very special episode of the Killer Countdown, as we are recording outside of Take 16 Brewing Company.
You had to mess something up in that intro, and you got further than you usually do.
Oh, man. I'm flustered because we're sitting inside your car.
Yeah. It's super hot outside. There's no quiet place to record, so we've decided to just have my car running while we record this inventive show tonight.
We chose the low AC coming through over cars honking and revving their engines. So.
Yeah.
We also have a special guest today, a fly in the back seat.
Oh,
Yay.
all right.
Welcome the fly to this creature feature episode of the Killer Countdown. You might be asking, why are you guys sitting in a car recording this? Because we are going to be attending the Dancing Spider Film Festival. It is a short film festival here in Luverne, Minnesota, just across the border from South Dakota, where we all hang out and live, I guess. So we are going to do a little altered version of the Killer Countdown today, because we will not be covering the news. Because, Sam, why are we not covering the news?
We are not covering the news because fuck a Babysitter sequel without Samara Weaving.
Like Sam said, fuck the Babysitter sequel, no Samara Weaving. I guess we could say the same thing about Scream 5, because she apparently was...
That's the big news for the week, is that she's not going to be able to be in it because of scheduling conflicts.
Wait, what? Neve Campbell is not...
No,
No.
Samara Weaving was asked to be in Scream 5, but she can't be in it because of scheduling conflicts with another film.
Bill and Ted 7.
Yeah.
So instead, we're gonna jump into recent watches here in a minute.
I better pull that up.
But before that, I briefly announce what we're gonna be talking about. What we're gonna be doing creature features for this episode. Blake versus Sam, top 8 creature features of all time. We are nearing the end of the Killer Countdown, so this is a time where everybody needs to show up. So if Sam has any hot takes, you might want to cool him off for this one, Sam.
Oh, I'll keep it cool.
So we're going to be doing creature features in the second half of the episode here. But let's jump into recent watches. Do you guys have it ready to go? Anyone?
I've got mine ready to go.
I think we all have quite a bit.
I've had quite a bit, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on mine because I really am excited to do creature features. So.
Should we jump into one that I know all three of us watched?
Sure.
It's The Rental.
Yeah.
With Dave Franco.
Yeah.
Yes, we definitely have differing opinions on that
one. We do, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was very good.
I did too.
The directorial debut of Dave Franco, starring his wife, Alison Brie, Dan Stevens
of The Guest.
Yes, and Beauty and the Beast, obviously.
Yes.
The girl from A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
Yeah.
And the kid from Shameless.
Yes.
I don't know their names.
I forget their names too.
But Dave Franco is the big name surrounding this, and just came out on VOD select theaters. We all watched it. Did you watch it in theaters?
I did watch it in theaters, yes.
I watched it on VOD.
Yep.
So did Blake.
Yep.
What did you guys liked it?
Yeah.
I loved it.
I didn't love it, but I just thought it was a very solid movie. I think he's doing a lot of things that don't come together in the end of the movie, but I'm okay with that because it's fun and it's effective. And I thought maybe some of the strands of different horror tropes could have came together earlier as opposed to so late in the movie, because it's not a very long movie. It's like an hour and 20 minutes or something. It's not very long.
Hour and a half.
Is it an hour and a half? Okay. I felt like some of the stuff that happens at the end could have been expedited quicker.
Yes.
But I liked a lot of it. I wish it was maybe a little more wrapped up the way or maybe like more.
What happens in the third act?
I don't want to say what happens. Yeah, not wrapped up, but like maybe
integral.
Yeah, I think my biggest problem was I wish more of it happened earlier, so I got more of that third act. Because I liked the third act quite a bit, but I felt there should have been more steps to get there and more like.
That's where I
plot
kind of
devices.
disagree, because I thought that it did a good job making, like, there are certain shots that are very POV voyeuristic early on in the movie. I feel like there's a certain point in the second act where you clearly know where a certain thing is going, and the way that Franco continuously flips these concepts on their head, I understand why people don't like that the genre, like the super genre elements, don't come in until later in the film. But I also like the idea of taking the tension of a relationship drama and almost using that to build into the tension of a straight up like thriller slasher flick. I enjoyed how that played out.
I didn't feel any tension in the third act. I didn't really care what happened because it's really out of left field what happens.
I don't think it's out of left field. As far as tension, I mean, I don't think there was a ton of tension, but I didn't think there was none either.
See, I was maybe it was because I was in a theater setting, honestly. We had a really receptive crowd to it too. I mean, it wasn't a huge crowd, obviously, COVID, but the people that were in the theater were very receptive to it, and there were a few jump moments that really got me because the tension was it was very much present in that theater. I understand why people don't like this one, but I mean, I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, that's high for. I guess I shouldn't say too much. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah,
I think I'm right. I gave it a 3.
I think
I thought you gave it a 2.
Maybe I gave it a 2. It's fine. It's right down the middle of the road.
There's two things that I want to touch upon, and then I'm good on this movie. One, I thought there was a really interesting like subplot early on in the movie where one of the guys, his girlfriend, is clearly like of a Middle Eastern descent, or
yes,
the girl who walks home,
right,
Yep.
and like she's upset because she thinks she was rejected because of who she is, when the brother of her boyfriend booked it 5 minutes later. And I thought that was a really cool moment. And I could be looking into it too much, but I thought there was a really interesting scene where like no one stands up for her when she brings it up to the guy. And I wonder if that was like a thing where like white people don't stand up for minorities enough. Like, I wonder if that was a commentary on our times, where like, what
I think 100%.
Anglos do not step up for minorities or people of color enough to raise their voices up. And I thought that was a really interesting dynamic in the early part of the movie. The last thing I want to talk about is whether I think we could all agree, whether we liked it or not, or thought it was fine or liked it. I think we can all agree that Dave Franco has got like the roots of what could be like a really good directorial career. Like, I think he understands 100%. Tropes well enough and like building scenes and tension enough to make really good movies in the future.
This is a really good directorial debut.
It's a good
very
debut.
Good debut.
Yeah, it's a good debut.
Yes. So that was The Rental. I think we all would.
Yeah, I'd recommend it.
I'd recommend it, definitely. Yeah.
I'm interested to see what Dave Franco does next.
Yeah,
and I think that gives a recommendation.
I will say he's already a better director than James Franco. So.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right.
I've got mine pulled up if we just want to. So I also got to see The Wretched, another fairly new release. We talked about that one topping the box office for about 5 weeks when it was just in drive-ins when all of this hit. It's basically an update of Fright Night with a witch instead of a vampire. It's nothing to write home about, but it's also a lot of fun. There are some really cool effects. They go for a twist in the third act that seems like it should be more emotionally impactful than it is. But at the same time, it's well done. There's a lot of twists actually in the third act, and some work better than others. I had a good time with this. It's about a 3 out of 5 for me. It's good. But it's not anything. It's not anything that's gonna blow your mind. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it.
I just saw it's on Hulu right now too.
Is it
Yes.
already? Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. I also saw La Llorona, the Shudder exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I seem to be in the minority. I didn't care for it. It's a great drama that unfortunately doesn't end on any satisfying note. I don't think the ghost elements work in this movie. I would have liked to see a movie without ghost elements in this, honestly. I enjoyed parts of it, and it's worth checking out if you have a Shudder subscription, but it's not the thing to get Shudder for.
Check out Sam's review on backlot605.com.
Yes, check out my review
Yes.
on backlot605.com. I want to talk about Host for a little bit, guys.
We all saw it.
We all saw it.
We all saw it. This movie fucks. Like, oh my god, I love this movie. I am not a huge found footage person, but damn, this movie worked for me on just about every level. I thought, while the characters weren't like super three-dimensional, I thought that their relationships with each other were well sold. I thought their emotions on screen were fantastic, particularly the character of Caroline. I was right with her from the get-go, where I was nervous. I was kind of tearing up from fear at the end. Watch this on a laptop in a dark room with headphones on, because that is the way it's meant to be seen.
Is that how you watched it?
It's how I watched it the second time.
Okay.
The first time I watched it on a television, I immediately watched it a second time on my laptop, because I was like, I watched this the wrong way, and it's an even richer experience through that.
Yeah, I watched it on TV, and I was genuinely scared.
Yeah.
I don't get scared very often in horror movies anymore, but this one has some great jump scare moments.
Yes, and that final jump scare.
Yes,
Oh
there's quite a bit in this, and I think
Yeah.
my favorite is involving the character you talked about,
Mhm.
Caroline.
Yes.
When she goes up in the attic. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this is like the Unfriended movies. It's shot all on Zoom, so us, pretty much anyone in the world right now can relate to being on Zoom. So I think that already can be horrifying. Yeah, it's what, 57 minutes long, something like that.
Yeah,
if that.
56, 57.
Yeah. More movies need to be that length, because
Yep.
that was a perfect runtime for this movie.
Oh, it was.
It doesn't really have enough time to give you like full like character development or growth, but you understand who each person is in this group.
Yep.
And it really works. There's a great I didn't even know there was a guy friend in the group, because
didn't
none of the
either.
promotion talked about that, but he has a great moment in the third act of this movie that is
All the moments
Perfect,
in the
yeah.
third act are great.
this is a very, very, very good movie. When we talk about our best of the year, this will be on some list.
Yeah,
I thought this was fine.
I know. I saw your letter.
Like, I think of the techno horror movies that's come out in the past decade, this is the worst. But I still think it's good.
Even the Unfriended movies?
Oh, the Unfriended movies are way better than this, I think.
I rewatched the Unfriended movies after this. I do not think so. I disagree.
Yeah, I have a.
I've said my piece on
Yeah,
Dark
no,
Multiverse,
I'm fine with it. I listen. I'm not here to bash this movie. I thought it was okay. I thought at even like 56 minutes, it was a little like stretching itself too thin. I just like people, like characters who like are like, I'm gonna go investigate this, and then they bring their laptop with them. It's like no one does that. Like no one climbs up into an attic and has their laptop like, oh, what am I doing up here? Like, I get it. There'll be no movie if it didn't happen, but it just seemed a little too far for me. However, like, the scares are very good. Man, the mask scene is
Mhm.
like,
That
Mm.
filter.
like,
Oh.
oh my God. Like, what, talk about a great use of like a technological advancement we have, you know? Like, I thought that was really cool.
Now that we have not seen that in don't think
I
I've never seen it
don't
in a
think so.
movie.
I think
No,
that's
I
a
haven't
great twist.
I've seen it on like people doing YouTube videos. I guess I've never seen that in a movie.
The end with the Polaroid camera, which I mean, come on, no one has Polaroid cameras anymore. That was super cool.
My sister does.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people.
No, they don't. No one has those anymore. They don't exist. The last person that used them was Leonard Shelby. But you know, all shit talking aside, this is a good entry into the techno horror series. I'm still trying to figure out how this demon went all over the world killing these people, but you know, maybe someday I'll figure it out.
I don't care.
Yeah.
None of those
I
things
do
matter
not
to
care.
me. The laptop carrying thing, I was so into
Well,
the tension
yeah.
of the movie that it didn't even register with me, honestly.
I will say I want more horror movies to be this length because I've said it on the show before. Like, I feel like there's a good like 30 minutes of a lot of horror movies. If they cut it out, they'd be like solid, like really hard movies that are hard, like you can't pass them up, and like this proves that to me. So I also give a mild thumbs up to The Host.
It's for me the best movie of the year so far.
The best movie?
Well, okay, best horror movie of the year.
I still think
Wow.
Invisible
Man?
For me, I still think The Invisible Man, or maybe even if Bacurau counts, that's my favorite horror movie of the year. But
Invisible Man, I might need to watch Invisible Man again before I make my final statement.
well,
on that,
I'd hope so.
you know,
Yeah. That's I like The Host as well. Three stars for me.
I got to see The Lost Boys on the big screen. I've already gushed about that on this podcast. I just want to say, like, it was an experience. I loved it. I finally watched the Evil Dead 2 at the behest of you guys. It's as great as you guys say. It's amazing. You're right. It's better than the first one. I went into it with this like
Water
jaded,
is wet,
like,
the sky's blue.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I went into it with this jaded idea of like, oh, they keep telling me it's going to be better than the first one, but I love the first one. It's not going to be better. It is. I've watched it twice already, and I literally watched it like a week ago. So, I also got to see the newest Shudder and review it for Backlot 605, Random Acts of Violence. Damn, this movie is dark. It is grisly. It is masterful in its gore effects. It has a lot to say about the way we interact with violence in our media, and how violent media can influence. It doesn't really have any answers to those questions. I think that's by design. At the same time, it can be a little frustrating that it's non-committal to any of those answers. But in a lot of the kills rely on some very convenient, like, wait a minute, how did he know this was exactly how it was going to play out type of thing. But at the same time, I really enjoyed this movie. It leaves you feeling kind of gross, like maybe you need a shower. The use of lighting is amazing. It actually is kind of lit like a giallo film, and kind of has similar vibes to that genre, while also being just a straight up brutal slasher, kind of in the vein of like Alex Aja's Hills Have Eyes remakes. And I recommend this. You can check out my full review on Backlot, and it's pretty great. I liked it a lot. And that's about it for recent watches, besides things that might be talked about later. So
Yeah, okay. I'll go through mine very quickly. I watched Phantasm 3, Lord of the Dead. I thought it was incredible. Awesome series.
I need to watch that series.
I watched a movie called Porno.
How was that?
It was good for 15 minutes, and then it was dumb for 40 minutes, and then it was great for 15 minutes.
All right.
Take that for what you will.
I'm still putting it higher on my watch list.
I watched a movie that I'm not going to talk about until we do our live show in October. I watched Phantasm 4, Oblivion. Not as good as the rest of the series, but still absolutely bonkers and nuts. I have no idea why this series is not talked about more. I watched Host. I watched a movie called Blackwater Abyss, new alligator movie. Fine for 20 minutes, and then it's just slow and dull with stupid twists that don't enhance anything and don't make any lick to the story. I watched the new Amy Seimetz movie, She Dies Tomorrow. Boy, I don't mind if a movie doesn't explain what's happening really, but I need a little bit more like what ifs or like drops of or hints of what could possibly be happening, but this doesn't have it for me. I watched an Australian movie called Road Games with Stacey Keach and who's the actor? Jamie Lee Curtis. This movie is awesome. Stacey Keach plays this American truck driver in Australia who may have seen a guy dump a body into some bags at a outside of a hotel
Bitchin'.
in the trash, and then he figures out that he actually might be following the guy on the highway of Australia, and then things get twisted around to where like maybe Stacey Keach is actually the killer, and it becomes this whole thing, and it ends with like this very, very slow, and I mean slow, like literally slow chase sequence through a town with a 18-wheeler and a van through like alleyways of this this warehouse district. It's super, super cool. I love this movie. I highly, highly recommend you check it out.
Awesome.
I
Where
watched.
did you find that?
Oh God, Amazon. I think.
Okay.
I think you can rent it on one of those sites.
Sweet.
Daniel Isn't Real. I've been sort of like waiting to watch this.
I'm
Finally watched it
interested
tonight. I didn't love it, but Patrick Schwarzenegger rules in this movie. He plays like this imaginary friend. One of my friends compared it to Drop Dead Fred, except like Fred would be killing people. Awesome score. I think this movie is a lot of fun.
I liked it a lot too. I think Miles Robbins is the better of the two performances, but I do agree that Schwarzenegger is fantastic.
It sort of just ends, and I wanted more, but I'm at the same time I'm really okay with how this ends. I think it's kind of a nice sudden end where it's just like, boom.
And it ends with kind of a fantasy twist too, which is really cool.
Yeah. And I watched another movie I will talk about in our discards. Possibly.
Interesting.
Unless I play it.
I doubt you will.
I doubt I will.
I got about a few on here. So obviously, like I said, I watched Host, The Rental. Another one that just came out, I believe it was earlier this year, late last year, The Lodge.
I still have not seen that.
So you have not, Blake? You have.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's on Hulu right now, I believe.
That's where I watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about this. I mean, it's not a spoiler what happens right away. Alicia Silverstone plays the mom in the first part of this movie, which is always nice to see her, even though she's in the movie maybe 5 minutes, and she shoots herself and
she blows her brains out.
Yeah. So it leaves her. I believe were they separated at that point?
They were getting divorced.
Yes. So her ex-husband and their 2 kids leaves them alone, but. By that point, the dad had already been dating this younger girl, and so over.
Riley Keough, right?
What's that?
Is it Riley Keough?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they go out to this lodge over Christmas break, and the dad decides to
just leave his kids
with this lady they've maybe met 5 times and don't like.
Just give her a chance.
Yeah. So he leaves, goes to work, does the typical movie dad thing, and leaves his girlfriend with his 2 kids, and the kids and the girlfriend obviously do not get along. This is not a good movie. I often heard it compared to Hereditary, and I think it's just because of the opening shot of this movie, because it is the exact same opening shot as Hereditary. But in other ways, it is nothing like that at all.
I generally don't want to see like backstory or flashbacks in movies, but this movie, I wanted more flashbacks, more of the backstory of what like Riley Keough's character went through early in her life. Because I found that the most scariest part of the movie, but alas, we did not get that. And it's just so slow.
It's super slow.
Yeah.
And these are the guys that did Goodnight Mommy, which is also a very slow movie.
I've not seen that yet. I hear
but it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps tension throughout the movie. This one just does not.
Yeah.
It relies on a lot of tropes for the scares. It's a not recommend for me. It's super slow paced. Not a lot happens. There's interesting elements that are presented towards the second half of this movie that are never really explored beyond that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was The Lodge.
I'm really interested to see this
Yeah.
now.
I would not start it late at night, although it sort of feels like the perfect movie to watch late at night. You know,
Huh.
like it feels like
Yeah.
a late night, close your windows, turn the lights off type of vibe. Because it does get under your skin a little bit, but it's sort of like,
You got to watch something right after that.
yeah, I don't know, like it.
It's
Is it
super
that
slow
dark?
paced. No, it's
It's
not
not
that dark.
It's not
but it's
dark.
like,
No,
Huh.
yeah.
I mean I don't think it ends on a good note. Though.
No, but
yeah.
it doesn't start off on a good note
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
Another newer movie I watched, I think this was last year, was Winchester.
Ooh,
Oh, how was
ooh,
that? How was that? I
Uh,
love the true story behind this movie.
that is
The
maybe
true story is great.
that is maybe one of the
Um,
worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Wow, I did not think it was that bad.
Oh,
It's not great. Definitely not
Ooh.
great. Helen Mirren is fine in this movie. She plays the Lady Winchester, who's like
Yep.
the heir to
Yeah.
the Winchester fortune. The true story is she built this house with hallways and doors and windows that just lead to nowhere, which is a very interesting concept, a great setting for a movie
yeah.
that's never really fully explored in this. Jason Clarke is incredible in this movie. He cannot do a bad performance in my eyes.
Jason Clarke, the dude from the
Yeah.
Eight
Apes,
movies.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in
I don't know about that, but
He has not delivered a bad performance for me. I think he's really good in everything he does.
He was really good in Pet Sematary.
He was in that terrible movie. Yes. Yeah, this movie is not as bad as I was expecting it to be. Maybe that's the best way.
and it was worse than I expected it to be.
I have heard nothing. I have never heard of anyone liking this movie. I'm like, and
I've
after
heard
watching it, I'm
it
like,
is-
it's pretty good.
I've
fine.
heard it is as unfinished as the house that it's based on.
well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it had interesting stuff in it. Helen Mirren is the weakest link in it for me, and she's technically the main character.
surprising.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it wasn't that bad. It has some decent scares. Doesn't fully explore the house like I wish it would. I'd rather watch a Netflix documentary on the Winchester house than
Is there one?
rewatch it. No, there should be. There should be.
I was like, oh damn, is there? I would like that.
I rewatched Signs,
Yeah.
which is one of the best Shyamalan movies, easily.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Top two easily.
Yeah, only behind The
Yes.
Visit.
No.
No.
Sam, get out of my car.
I love The Visit.
You're gonna record outside the car. Sorry.
Maybe it might be my favorite Shyamalan.
It's my favorite. We talked about this on the group page. It's my favorite Shyamalan. I love this movie.
And Sixth Sense and Unbreakable are top three for me easily. This is a movie only Shyamalan can make, because there's so many Shyamalan
I
things
disagree
in
with that, but
no, especially just in terms of like the storytelling and the dialogue in this. Only Shyamalan could direct it in that way, especially the little.
it feels very Spielbergian. It feels like a Spielberg.
But Spielberg
movie.
characters do not talk like that. Like the little girl and the boy in this movie talk like they're aliens in this movie.
Yeah. Oh,
Daddy,
yeah.
I'm thirsty. Can I have a glass of water? It's just only
Sure.
Shyamalan could do that.
Sure.
In terms of the other stuff, yes, it's very Spielbergian. But yeah, I love this movie. Watched it multiple times.
Yeah, it rules. It slaps, as
It
the
slaps.
kid would say.
It slaps.
Yeah.
It definitely slaps. People who gripe about the water thing can fuck off.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
It's fine.
I agree.
It works.
Yep.
That's not the whole point of the movie. Yeah. So Science.
Yeah,
Great movie.
science.
I like seeing Joaquin in supporting roles more than leads.
I don't know. Well, I think he's great in basically anything he does, but
Mhm.
yeah, I completely
This
forgot
has maybe the top 5 jump scares ever.
the
Him watching the TV with
Mm.
the alien walking by.
man.
Mhm.
It's incredible.
Mhm.
It's so good.
I saw this in theaters opening night, and just the theater was filled with people with movements because people were just freaking out. Yeah, awesome.
Great
I love
scene.
Signs.
Yeah.
Signs is a great movie, but The Visit takes it from me because
'Cause
no other Shyamalan film has a creepy granny crawling under a house in like a crawl space that literally is like the same crawl space that my grandma's house has. So like, nope, it did for grandma's house what Jaws did for the water.
If The Visit didn't have a rapping 9-year-old white kid at the end of it, I think I would have given it higher marks. But
Rapping
Fair
little
enough.
white kid
Fair
and
enough.
poopy diapers.
No,
can-
that part
can
was
go away-
amazing.
can go
Poopy
away.
diapers was amazing.
We'll agree to disagree.
Anything else you got, Casey?
Speaking of poopy diapers, no. I watched Basket Case.
Oh yeah.
What a fucking wild movie.
Yeah.
So
Basket Case rules.
I have a weird history with Basket Case because it's on Tubi TV, and so whenever you watch Tubi TV, immediately when something ends, you get like 30 seconds and something else will start. So one night I fell asleep watching a movie on there, and I woke up about 2 a.m. and there is this fucking pale white half creature just screaming at the top of its lungs at 2 o'clock in the morning on my TV.
And you're like,
And I'm
Kayla?
Yeah, no, she was not home because she was working overnights. I'm like, why is this on my TV? And I pause it, and it was Basket Case. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I need to watch this at some point. So we finally watched it. Pure 80s sleaze, New York nastiness.
Yeah, I love
and I love it.
Yeah.
It is about a young man who was born with a conjoined twin who it's the father who basically calls it like blasphemy. It's ungodly. So they have the half son get removed, but he somehow stays alive and is carried around in a basket throughout New York City, and feeds on raw meat. It's an incredible movie. It's an incredible movie. Frank Henenlotter. What was the other one? Brain Damage. I saw Brain Damage before this. I like Basket Case more than Brain Damage. Brain Damage is a wild ass movie too. I've not watched the sequels yet for Basket Case. I've not heard positive or negative either way.
Basket Case rules. I would also recommend It's Alive, which is in the same vein. I think that's a Larry Cohen movie.
Yep.
So that would be a cool double feature some night. Just weird freaks born in hospitals,
Yes.
like New York sleaze budget type stuff. So yeah, that and like Chud in Street Trash, like a quadruple feature of those.
This nasty New York.
Yeah,
Yep,
we'll call it the shower after night.
It is a shower after movie. Yeah.
Speaking of shower after, I missed one.
You watched-
Quickly,
you
Sam,
watched
let's-
Psycho.
I watched Society.
Oh, all right. We'll come back to Society.
Yeah, we'll come back.
We
that
have to
one.
talk about
I
Society.
forgot about that.
Oh, you're not done yet?
I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
No. Speaking of New York 80s
It's okay,
trash,
we're not doing news.
Maniac Cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maniac Cop fucking rules. Bruce Campbell is not total Bruce Campbell in this, but he's charming. He's charming. It's about this New York cop that's
Were these before or after the Evil Dead movies?
after. Yeah.
After. Okay.
This New York cop that has basically like become slightly mutated and returns and just starts offing people that did him wrong. This is pure 80s nasty sleaziness, and it's great.
Yeah.
And what's the guy that plays him?
Oh,
He's
he's in Tango and Cash.
Yes, he is. Which I also just watched recently. He's perfect in this. It is a fun, low budget horror, slight action movie. It's
Dude,
a lot
the
of fun.
second one is nuts.
I have heard the second one is great.
Yeah.
Well, all three of them are on Shudder now, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I might do a triple feature of those.
Last two that I got here. This was also on Shudder. I'm not sure if it still is. The Burning,
Yeah.
which is
another good one.
formerly played on the show on the best slashers, with no remakes or sequels. This is the best summer camp slasher ever.
Wow.
It's better than all the Friday the 13th movies.
Not hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
But this is an incredible movie.
Is it better than Madman?
Yeah. Yes.
Get
yes.
the fuck
Yes,
outta
it
here.
is.
I just rewatched Madman. I like
Again, Sam Lynn,
so
leave
again.
my car, please.
I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Man,
I
I
have
like
to
The
agree.
Burning, but
I
man,
agree.
Madman
Yeah.
is
I need to rewatch Madman.
Okay.
I guess, but
I like Madman a lot.
The Burning is incredible, though. There's so many great practical effects, Savini effects. Obviously, the
That's
raft
true. Okay.
sequence is
Yeah.
incredible. Young Jason Alexander is
George
great.
Costanza?
Is in this movie. Also, Holly Hunter, I guess, is in the movie somewhere as one of the kids.
Right.
Yeah. This is perfect camp slasher movie. Does the campfire stories
Literally and figuratively.
What's that?
Total camp.
It is total camp. Yes.
Yeah.
It has some good tension in it. It's better directed than most of the Friday the 13th movies, that's for sure. The Burning is incredible, and I'm sure we will maybe talk about it when we do our 80s.
Oh
show.
boy.
That's gonna be tough.
Which Casey has way too many movies to choose from, but that's okay.
I do
It's
have
okay.
a lot.
I
We'll
know.
talk
I've
about
got
it.
a whole list of 20 just on my own.
Yeah,
A lot of broken hearts, I
we'll
think.
talk
is gonna
about
happen.
And then the last one I watched the Nickelodeon miniseries "Are You Afraid of the Dark?" Just
So
last night as we're recording this.
I didn't realize that's what you were talking about.
Oh,
I have not seen the new, like the
yes.
new one.
Yes.
With the, because it's like a 3-parter.
Yes, it was
So-
a 3-part miniseries from last October.
Yeah. So I didn't even know that was a thing because I have all the original series.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, that series is amazing. And then I realized it was something different. So I'm really excited to watch this now.
Yes, this movie is. So yeah, I didn't grow up with "Are You Afraid of the Dark?" I was a Goosebumps kid, but I've watched some of those in the last few months. They're on some service, that Nickelodeon is on. So I've watched 2-3 seasons of the show, and yeah, it's very much in the Goosebumps vein.
Mhm.
But yeah, so this was made last year, came out last October. It was a 3-part miniseries, each 40-45 minutes long. Updated take. It is definitely more mature than the TV show, but it's still enough of that kids can watch it, and something I've preached on this show and many other shows before. We need more kids horror. This is
100%.
perfect for that. I was legitimately scared watching this, and this was made on Nickelodeon. It aired on prime time, but it was still a Nickelodeon show. So basically, it follows the Midnight Society from the original TV show, and it technically keeps all that still in canon because it's just been passed down now, 20, 30 years later. And this new group of kids invites a new girl to their school, into the group, who's been having these dreams of this man wearing a top hat who runs a circus. And she constantly has dreams about him. So that is what she wrote her story about, was the man in the top hat. And so she tells the story, they accept her into the group. The next morning, all the kids are at school, and they all receive a free flyer to a circus in town by that same name of the story she told. So all the kids are terrified of it. So they decide to go investigate and figure out what the hell is going on because one of their classmates has gone missing. So that's the plot of the movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is really great. It's a little long. Like I feel like it would have worked a little better as a TV or as a movie because it's 2 hours and 20 minutes long all put together. So an hour 40, hour 50 long movie would be perfect. But of those like 90s nostalgic kids type shows and movies that we've gotten, the 2 Goosebumps movies, the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and then this is easily the best of all
Ooh,
those.
even better than Scary Stories.
It's better than Scary Stories.
I like Scary Stories a lot, so that gets me excited.
It is more faithful to that, while also being very much its own thing. It has a lot of nods to horror in the past. One of the kids in the group who was in the It movies, he was the chubby kid from the It movies.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of the main characters. He's obsessed with horror movies.
He's also in Goosebumps, too.
He is in Goosebumps. That's right. He loves horror movies, so he asked the girl that what's the last one she watched, and she's like, I watched The Changeling. What middle schooler watches The Changeling? But it at least sets up that they're horror knowledgeable, these kids. Each of the kids' last names is named after a horror director. So there's a Carpenter, a Fulci.
Do they do that in
right.
like Scream 2 as well?
I think so.
They do it in Night of the Creeps.
That as
Yep.
well. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
The town they live in is called Argento.
Nice.
Jesus.
But these actually work because kids are not going to understand that. I think that's more of the 90s kids that watch
Watch it with their kids, probably.
it with
Yeah.
their kids
It's a
now.
nod to the older
Yes.
generation.
And I think Nickelodeon's coming out with season 2 this October.
Oh, that's
I
so
might
rad.
not. I might be mistaken, but I heard
didn't even know they
it'll be coming
rebooted
out.
it.
Yeah. So
That's so exciting because I grew up on that show for sure.
yes.
I love
So I'm glad Nickelodeon is taking chances like this because if this was a movie, it'd probably be PG-13, and so you would not expect that from Nickelodeon. So yeah, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Cool. I'm not, but
Let's talk about Society now.
Okay, so
We have to talk. About
I did.
This.
I watched Society at the behest of you two. I don't know what you were expecting me to think of this movie.
I was hoping you'd puke. honestly.
I was close to it, to be totally honest. Like, I took at least 3 showers later that day because I just, oh my God. The ending just, I mean, like, I figured it was going to be something extreme because you guys talked this up and I was like, okay, yeah, this is going to be gross, but like, I can probably, like, I can handle it. No, no amount of psyching myself up. The worst thing was, like, I ordered Chinese food and like I'm sitting there eating, and about midway through I'm like, why did I order Chinese food and put this movie on? And I remember texting you guys, and all Blake said was, finish eating early. I was like, son of a bitch, I'm in for something. I can't say I recommend this.
Come on,
okay,
Sam.
I can recommend it from a practical effects standpoint, because the practical effects in this movie are phenomenal.
This is a 4-star horror movie.
I don't know what I would rate it, honestly.
It's a masterpiece.
I was so conflicted at the end of this, and I think it was just because I felt so disgusting.
It's a disgusting movie.
It really is. And it does it well. So in that regard, if you like disgusting movies, yes, I would agree. It's 4 stars. If you are, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I can't say that I like didn't enjoy it, but I also can't say that I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I'm so conflicted with this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it rules.
Yeah. I loved the artistry that went into it. I really did.
Just for the fact that you call it an artistry is fine, I guess.
No, it is. It is. It's art.
Screaming Red George, baby. These
practical
one of the
effects
best.
Are art. And it's part of the reason I love horror movies so much. It's just, man, that movie, that third act.
It's dope.
The shunting, baby. The shunting.
Yeah, I love Society.
Yeah.
I like the third act. Okay, here's the thing. I think I would have rated it higher had I been more into the first 2 acts.
Or if you had been eating like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Chinese was probably a bad move on that one.
Yeah.
But yes, no. Okay, I do. I recommend Society. Just not to anybody who is at all squeamish.
Yeah, I think I
because
definitely
I have a
think
pretty strong stomach when it comes to practical effects, and that movie almost had me running for the bathroom.
Yeah. It's quite something.
Yes.
There's nothing else like it.
I'm not gonna. I don't want to talk about it because I just want people to just go discover it and watch it.
Yes.
Yeah. Watch Society.
Mm-hmm. Still on Shudder.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where I watched it. And like when the third act starts too, it didn't. At first I was like, oh, this is it. This is what it is. Like, okay, I can handle that.
Yeah.
Like these guys hype this up like way too much, and then it just keeps going, and you're like, wait, oh. Like, so yeah, okay, go watch Society.
There we go. That's all we needed.
That's all we wanted to hear.
That's all we needed to hear.
Not without a barf bag, just in case.
So I think that's all of our recent watches.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we keep teasing this 80s show. We should talk about it at the end of the show here.
Okay.
I just want to remind us.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's all of our recent watches. Like we said at the beginning, skipping the news because
there ain't no news.
Screw the Babysitter sequel without Samara Weaving. So yeah, let's jump into the game. Let's try to see if I can remember the rules off. It's been a while since we've done this.
It's been a good month easily.
At least. So this is the Killer Countdown top 8 creature features of all time, as played by Blake Ginneth and Sam Lenz. And today we will be defining the top 8 creature features. Each player will get 4 picks in this game, including the even numbers, and the other player will get the odd numbers. To do so today, I don't have any trivia questions, so we're going to play some rock, paper, scissors in a minute. So along with that, we're creating the top 8 list, but each player will also, throughout this game, get 1 veto to use. So the veto can be used to either remove a film from the list or try to move it up higher in the list, depending on how they play the veto. The movie, if you veto it off, is not removed from the list forever. It can be played higher. So that can be either to your benefit or disadvantage. So Yeah, I think that's all we have for the rules, if I'm not mistaken.
In-
Should we define what creature?
Yeah,
Let's start
I
with
think
that
so.
first.
So we sort of decided that
it's not mutated from a human.
yes,
You can't.
although I think one movie could might be controversial, but
Okay.
we'll see.
We'll see.
yeah,
we'll
we'll
see.
see. Well,
Yeah, so it can't be anything humanoid. So no vampires, Wolverines.
yeah. So like basically,
Werewolves, definitely no. Well, maybe some
Maybe
Wolverines.
like those
Um,
30s, 40s Universal monster movies.
No,
Fine.
no zombie movies.
Yes.
Nothing involving
Yeah,
a humanoid.
Large animals have to be large, as in not scientifically possible.
like
So Jaws,
for example,
Jaws
of a
does not
movie
count.
that couldn't be played, or that could be played but won't be because it's not a horror movie. Dwayne Johnson's Rampage, with those animals being mutated to the size and bigness that they are.
Good way to put it.
I have a
Yeah.
movie that I'm gonna play, and if it's decided that it doesn't count, I'm okay with that. But
I'll
have
throw,
one movie that I'm
I'll throw this out there
about
too. We're defining creature features, not necessarily horror movies.
That is, oh wait,
Because-
what?
Yeah.
What?
Right?
Are you serious? Are
They're
you
creature
serious?
features.
All right. Well, this
okay,
changes
well
my
I
list
need
a
to
little
add
bit.
one back in here.
Yeah.
This changes my list
because
a
we
little
did
bit.
a Carpenter countdown and did not have all horror movies.
Oh, so you mean I could have played Dwayne Johnson's Rampage?
You
at
could
number
have,
one?
but I think you spoiled it. So
I'm
yeah,
just- I
non-humanoid.
do like that movie.
They cannot be animals that we have out in the wild. Jaws, for example, would not count.
Thank God.
Crawl would not count as a creature feature in this. That would be more under animal attacks, I guess, is the subgenre that would be involved in.
But like, if
I
it
mean,
was
creature feature,
yeah.
I think, falls into a certain category of horror in a way, because where else are you going to put it?
Yeah. So aliens, mutated animals, things from
Like, sorry,
Aquatic
aliens are
creatures
not
type of
not in this as well. So-
Really?
what?
right? Is that
What?
what you said?
No,
Sorry.
I said
Oh, okay.
aliens would like an alien creature, right?
Yes,
You know, like
yes.
not necessarily like, oh, I'm a Martian,
Yes.
but like an alien creature. Because
That was-
Okay.
you take out alien creatures,
Sorry.
and I don't have a list, Casey.
This is gonna be a wild list then.
I had signs on my mind and not a certain other title.
Okay, so we've defined it,
Oh, it's sort
sort of.
Sort of.
We'll see what happens.
This is
of.
gonna
I'm
be,
more interested.
This
to
is
see what
already
you
a
guys
wild.
play.
This is already a wild episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I have no idea what Blake's
You
gonna
know,
play.
you know what, Sam? I don't want the number one, so I'm just gonna let you have it.
Oh.
Oh, for reals?
Yeah,
All right.
because honestly, I don't even know if I have a number one,
I don't really know either. I just have.
and I'm
8
gonna give
movies
that
I really
responsibility
like.
to you,
All right.
if that's
Thanks.
okay with you.
Yeah, that's fine with
Or
Perfect.
do
me.
you want to fight to not have the number?
Yeah.
Nah, I'll take it. I'll
Okay,
take it.
so Blake will have the evens, Sam will have the odds, and the number one pick.
Okay,
Brad?
I'm gonna text you right now,
So
Casey,
yes,
I
they
gotta
will be
find your-
texting me their choices.
and I'm gonna text you, and I don't know how you want to decide if it counts or not. If you want
Okay.
to read it off the bat first, I'm okay discussing whether it counts or not.
Okay.
So
yeah, and I mean, honestly, yeah, we'll just play it by ear.
I will read it, but I would say we can talk about
okay,
it.
okay.
Okay.
I think we would have to define what the other person would say.
Because this is, I knew from the beginning this would be this would be up for debate. Because even I don't know if it counts, but
Okay.
Yeah.
With the number 8 pick, possibly, Blake has selected Deep Blue Sea.
I
yeah.
think it counts.
You think it counts?
I think it counts.
Okay. The one thing I think going against this is that the sharks aren't exactly like way bigger than normal sharks. However, they are mutated. They are genetically enhanced.
Mhm.
I think this is like one of the most perfect B movies ever made. It hits all of the high points of B movies. Like it has a wild group of characters. They're in a really exotic location. They're on like this deep sea, obviously deep blue sea, like marine station where they have like these sharks that they're testing to possibly have the cure for Alzheimer's. And so the lead character is Saffron Burrows, who she's a scientist. She's way too beautiful to be a scientist, which is a good check mark for a B movie. Her grandfather or her father has Alzheimer's. She's trying to find the cure, which is a really good emotional point for this movie. It really gives like a added depth to the plot of what's happening. And basically Sam Jackson is this guy who is there to like decide whether or not the science can move forward, whether or not they're gonna continue with funding this whole thing. While they're there, a storm hits and a helicopter crashes and causes the station to start flooding, and these genetically enhanced sharks get out, and they have to survive the onslaught of the sharks. There's a lot of great actors in this movie. Stellan Skarsgård plays one of the scientists in the movie. He never is bad in the movie. Michael Rappaport is that like really obnoxious like sidekick who, like, again, how is this guy a scientist? He's sort of like always playing like the dummy friend in most movies.
He's playing Michael Rappaport.
Yeah. LL Cool J has a really good supporting role. They sort of like flip the script on buddies. Like in any other movie, like you'd have like who is that rapper? Busta Rhymes with like the RZA, and they'd be these two wisecracking guys, like the cool like hip guys you're trying to like who deliver humor. But in this movie, it's LL Cool J and a talking parrot, and these two like characters are like wisecracking to each other, but like it's a parrot, and I think that's a really cool twist on that whole thing. And it has a lot of great kills. It has one of the greatest death scenes of all time.
Yep.
I'm not going to ruin who it is because you're not going to know going in, because I still watch it and like
It's so iconic,
it's so
though.
iconic. Yeah. And I think like and I forgot Thomas Jane as the hero of this whole thing, who I think he has a really good role as like the buff like six-pack guy who is always sort of like knows what to do in certain tight situations. And I think the whole thing works all the way to the end. And I think this is like low-key one of the best Rennie Harlin movies. And yeah, Deep Blue Sea, I don't think it's like amazing or anything or game changer. It's just like it gives you exactly what you're looking for in a B movie. And I think this is a solid like 8 or 7.
Yes, I 100% agree with this. I didn't have it on mine just because like it isn't necessarily like a physically mutated shark, but I think it has to count on here because you're right, they are genetically enhanced. They're super sharks. They are they're brainy. They're smart.
There's literally a scene where they're going out and eliminating security cameras.
Yeah.
So the people can't see what they're doing.
And I mean, I don't even know if I talked about it in my recent watches. We talked about it in the car ride here, but I just watched Deep Blue Sea 3, and it just takes that, and those movies just keep getting more and more ridiculous with the genetically enhanced brains of these sharks. But yeah, the first one is clearly the breadwinner of this franchise, and yeah, I really, really dig this movie. You're right, it's not entirely groundbreaking, which is why I think it's perfect down here lower on this list. But it is one of those movies where you get out of it exactly what you want from a movie called Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, and it has a really killer LL Cool J song at the end of the movie.
Yes,
too.
it does. Yes, I watched this one quite a bit. Honestly, it's pretty regularly rotated at my house. So yeah, I'm in agreement with
So
that.
you're both in agreeing that this is a creature feature?
I mean, I played it, so I'm.
I am. Yeah.
Okay, I will not disargue that. Then I would have. This is leaning towards the fence here. I think
And
it's right
maybe-
on the fence.
I think
Yeah.
it is
But
right
if
on
both
the
of
fence.
you guys
but
are saying it, then that's fine with me.
I think it's on the fence, but I also I think it's close to the fence. But I also think that if we're talking genetically altered, we go with it.
I've actually never seen this
Oh.
movie.
Ooh, that's good.
I've seen that scene.
Oh, I'm not sure how I feel about playing this one. I'm not going to play
All right.
I'm going to play a different one.
So I'm waiting for Sam's text. So yeah, Blake at number 8 played Deep Blue Sea. Will this be the only shark movie on the list? Let's see. All right. So Sam has sent me his pick, number 7 on the top 8 list of creature feature movies. Sam has played another Thomas Jane movie,
Oh my god.
The Mist.
Oh.
Okay, so I don't know what Blake's reaction is, but I'm going to talk about it before he stabs it. I love The Mist. It's no secret that I'm a huge Stephen King fan. The novella that it's based on is amazing, but the movie, directed by Frank Darabont, follows a group of townspeople led by the very, I don't know if you would call him charismatic, Thomas Jane. Basically, this mist overtakes this town. They find out that it is from a military experiment. Oh, sorry.
No, I guess I wouldn't have said that.
Oh,
but
sorry. Never mind. It's not by a
maybe we can edit that part out.
Yeah, we can edit that out. Okay, so I'll keep going. I'll
You're
start
fine.
over.
You're fine.
The Mist is about a group of people, a group of townspeople that get stuck in a supermarket with this very thick mist around them, and they find out that there are creatures in this mist. It's got some H.P. Lovecraft vibes to it. It's tense. It's one of the best Stephen King adaptations out there, honestly, and it has one of the most harrowing endings of any movie.
I think it's one of the few King adaptations where King's like, yeah, that's better than what I did.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's 100%. It improves upon the ending, and there is a sequence involving a tentacled beast coming in through a back garage, like a loading dock, basically. That is just one of the most incredible, like when I think creature feature, that's almost the sequence that I think of first. That's one of the first movies that I thought of when we came up with this list. I think there are better ones, not necessarily better, but more iconic ones that deserve a higher place on this list. But I really enjoy The Mist. I'm not sure what Blake's face is telling me right now. So maybe it won't make it onto the rest, or maybe it won't be on this list. But that is my pick for number 7. The Mist.
Yeah, I sort of wish this was higher, but
Really?
I completely forgot about this movie when making my list. I love The Mist. I think it's incredible. I think it's one of the best 1950s horror movie made outside of the 1950s.
Yes.
Along with another creature feature that may or may not come up on this list. I love that while they're stuck inside this grocery store, half of the people become scarier than the actual monsters.
Yes.
I think that's a really cool
I think that's one of the
twist
best
on
dynamics in the
the
movie.
movie. Ending is bleak as hell. I don't know. I love The Mist. I think it's a great movie. I think it's underrated. I think a lot of people talk trash about this movie, and I think it sucks. I love the black and white version.
Yes, I was just going to ask if you
Frank
had watched the
Darabont-
black and white.
So Frank Darabont wanted to release this in black and white in theaters, and the studio told him no. And then he said, how about I get it on home video? And they released it on home video with both versions. I think
You got to get the 2-disc special edition DVD.
I think it's great.
Yep.
I'm not gonna veto it. I wish it was played higher, but I'm not gonna waste that in case you play something incredibly bad. But
Deep Blue Sea 3.
yeah, probably. But
How many
I
Deep
love
Blue
The
Seas
Mist.
will wind up on this list? Yes. The
When you
Mist
said
is
when you
amazing.
said Thomas Jane, I was like, what else has he done? And so, boy, I'm really glad it ended up being that.
Yeah.
So, I suppose I got to figure out what I'm going to play for my next movie.
All right, so
All
that was
right.
number 7, The Mist. How many more Thomas Jane movies will make this list? That's the real question.
This has turned into a Thomas Jane killer countdown.
Oh, please no.
I'm gonna steer us differently here.
I think it's only downhill from there if we did that.
I texted you.
Punisher, number 1.
Yeah, that's a
Yes.
creature feature.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right. So at number 6, Blake has selected the movie I was expecting to be on here and I think was a last-minute addition. This is Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Seriously, that was the one I was debating playing this off of The Mist.
Okay. So, yeah, My very first episode of Backlash 605 I got to be on, well, I think it was a remakes talk, and I gushed about this movie. I love this movie so much, and I think it counts more than the original, even though the original is way more iconic and possibly way more influential. Well, it is way more influential. This is Peter Jackson's like love letter to that movie that he grew up watching, and the reason why he made movies. His Kong has more like bites to him. And I think like there's the dinosaurs that are involved in this make it qualify more than the original. And there's a sequence in the middle of the movie involving a bug pit that totally pushes this over. I really don't think I need to go into too much about why this movie deserves to be here. I think it's one of the most grandiose, one of the most self-indulgent movies ever made. This is basically Peter Jackson taking all the money he made off Lord of the Rings and like cashing it in, you know, like he made the movie that he wanted to make. It's like 3.5 hours long, has way too long of an ending, but I love every minute of this movie. Jack Black is incredible. Adrian Brody's incredible. Has one of the all-time great performances by Naomi Watts. Boy, this movie just it rides all the way. Like you don't even get to the island until like 90 minutes into the movie.
And it's still riveting.
Like this movie, Kyle Chandler is great in this movie. I think this movie deserves to be here, and I wouldn't put it higher. I think it's just a really fun, big budget B movie. I love King Kong, and I think it's way better than the original. Sorry to the haters out there.
So it's really funny that you play Peter Jackson's King Kong. Up until we literally started recording, on my list I had the 33 King Kong, and I changed it last minute because I was like, no, it's the bug pit scene that makes this more of a creature feature than the 33 one.
Casey and I did an episode about the scariest scenes in non-horror movies, and I walked out of there and I was like, I didn't play the bug pit. I can't believe I forgot about the bug pit, because to me it's number one. But
Andy Serkis's demise in that is just harrowing.
It's nuts.
Oh, that stuck with me. I mean, I was what, 12 when this movie came out, and I begged my dad to take me in the theater. He hated it. He thought it was too long. I walked out of that thing. I walked around middle school like King Kong for the next like 2 weeks. I got in trouble in class because I got up on a table and started beating my chest. This movie was so my shit.
Yeah.
And I love it. I'm so glad it's on this list.
Has an incredible video game adaptation as well.
Does it really?
Yes,
Actually,
it does. Okay.
no, I've never played the video game. I had a friend who had it, but I've never played it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was my introduction to it, but then
Nice.
I had watched it. I haven't seen this in probably 6 years. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But me and my brother watched it. My brother loves ape movies, and so we watched King Kong one night, not realizing, I don't think he realized it was 3.5 hours long. We're sitting there, and 2.5 hours passed. Like, is this not over yet? I mean, there's like another hour left to go. So, this is one of Peter Jackson's best, if not.
I'd say his best.
No, it's not his best.
I'd say his best.
Fellowship is his best, but that's a different show.
Yeah. That is our Lord of the Rings show that we will never do on this show.
That's too. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I love King Kong. I was expecting it to be on here. This is a definitive creature feature. Kong needed to be on this list somewhere, no matter what movie.
Yeah.
So, that was our number 6. Then King Kong from 2005.
I think that's right.
Right. Yeah.
All right. I've got my next one coming your way. This might be.
As soon as Casey said it doesn't have to be horror, I was like, King Kong. I'm putting it back on because I deleted it.
I had that even when it was. I kind of consider that a horror film.
I don't, but
the island part I do. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I won't split hairs on it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to number 5. Sam has sent it my way. Since we talked about King Kong, let's talk about the guy he's going to fight here coming up. This is Godzilla 1954.
So this might be a little low on this list, but I wanted to make sure I played it. This was a first-time watch for me in preparation for this. The only Godzilla movie I had seen prior was, Roland Emmerich's. That's not even really a Godzilla movie. And I'm Gareth Edwards.
Evan. Edward? It's Edwards. Yeah,
Edwards, yeah. The guy who did Rogue One.
Yes.
his Godzilla movie, which I wasn't huge on.
It's
like,
okay.
it
It's oddly like not great or not bad, and
yeah,
it's just like there.
Yeah, exactly. So I had never been like a huge Godzilla like fanatic growing up, but I watched it. I rented it on Amazon, and damn, I kind of fell in love with this movie. It takes a weird turn. Like, Godzilla's iconic rampage in this movie is actually the second act of the film. I was expecting it to be the third act, and then the movie continues and has a really kind of poignant a retrospective melancholy third act that really kind of hits on an emotional level that I wasn't expecting. And I was kind of blown away by it. It's the effects, while dated, work in the context of the movie. Like, it's a guy in a rubber suit, but you don't feel that. Like, you feel the destruction of the city as Godzilla was going through it. And I just think that the tone of this movie being so like, not dour, but just melancholy, and it's just a beautiful film that maybe could have been a little shorter in my opinion. But I really loved this movie, and I was like, as soon as I got done watching it, I was like, this needs to be on this list. And yeah, I
grew up on Godzilla movies. My dad would, had them all on tape and rewatch them. This is one of the greatest movies ever made. This is like Japan's, like, hey, nuclear bombs are bad. This is the fallout of why nuclear war is bad. I love that whole allegory. I don't have much to add. I think this is one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah,
it was on my list too. I didn't know I was going to play it. No, I didn't really care where it was played at. So,
yeah, okay. Because part of me just thinks it. But since I'd only seen it once, I was kind of like, you know what I mean? It was just one of those.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's a good choice.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. It's like you said. I think it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. Honestly, I loved it.
I have never seen the original Godzilla.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I would not recommend watching the American version. I would watch the Japanese version.
Oh yeah, that's the one I watched, was the Japanese version. I can't imagine watching it dubbed.
Yeah.
All right, so then that is Godzilla at number 5.
We're here in the top 4 already, huh?
We're in the top 4. The two big boys are in the list, so it'll be interesting to see if they any versions of them will pop up at other points. I doubt it. So our top 4 is kind of wide open. So we move from one foreign film to another one. At number 4, Blake has selected director Bong Joon-ho's The Host.
Yeah. I love The Host. We did a Bong Joon retrospective on the main Backlot show a few months ago. I don't know if it's one of his best. It's one of my favorites for sure. This is one of the greatest creature features ever made, I think. I love that it sort of plays against the tropes of other creature features where, Jaws sort of started the whole thing. Maybe that didn't start, but like, it's known as the Jaws thing where you keep the shark hidden for half the movie. This one just straight up like throws the monster right into your face. That whole sequence where the monster attacks is incredible. Basically, the movie starts off with these U.S. government dudes are in this really dilapidated, like, underground, looks like a lab, and they're dumping chemicals down the drain. And one guy's like, we can't be doing this. And the guy's like, don't worry about it. Like, this, whatever. Years later, or maybe even a year later, we see the effects. This monster comes out of nowhere and she's attacking people. And this young girl's kidnapped, and her family has to figure out a way to get her back, even though everyone's telling them that she's dead. In typical Bong Joon-ho fashion, this movie flips through so many I lost my train of thought.
There's so many different genres and
genres, but also like tones.
Yes,
Thank you. Yeah, it switches tones left and right. There's
scenes.
There's a great sequence where like the family is mourning this girl's death, and all of a sudden like they all fall down in front of everybody, and it's all of a sudden just hilarious.
Yeah.
I think all the sequences where they're going after the girl are incredible. It's about family coming together despite differences to help each other out. Scary, funny, suspenseful, intense, all at once sometimes. Yeah, I love The Host.
So can I be honest with you and say this was my number 2.
Then the next choice is yours,
Yeah.
Sam Lenz.
Well, this was a first time watch also, because I knew Blake was more knowledgeable on foreign film than I. And so I decided that I was going to try and step out of my comfort zone and do some foreign film watching, and The Host blew me away. The sequence where the monster attacks, I audibly, like when you see him in the background approaching the camera.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Because
you're like
literally like
you're like, are they doing
was
this already?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, and it scared the hell out of me. And people, like, I was looking up, reactions and stuff on the internet just because like I like listening to discourse, and some people are talking about, oh, the CGI doesn't hold up. I'm like,
oh, get out of here.
I don't even like
Get
that's
out of
not
here.
even
It doesn't, but it doesn't matter.
No,
Yeah.
It
not
does
at
not
all.
matter.
Yeah, it's the emotional impact of everything that's happening.
Yeah.
I actually think, if I remember correctly, like, isn't the introduction of the monster like it hanging?
It's hanging
Yeah.
from
and
the
you're
bridge.
and
It's
you're like,
incredible.
what is that? And then all of a sudden it just falls in the water.
Yeah,
And you're
then
like,
it's
okay, that was weird.
And
And
then
all
in
of
the
a sudden
background,
it
you
attacks.
just see
Yeah.
it getting bigger, and you're like, what
Yeah,
the
it's
like,
great.
oh, it's so good.
I need to
And-
watch this again. It's a great movie.
And the ending is another melancholy
Yeah,
ending.
yeah.
It's very like the tone of the ending is very reminiscent to Godzilla in the fact that it's not an entirely sad, well, it is sad, but it's also not like, it's not devastating in a sense, like
Yeah.
I don't know,
it's devastating.
it's devastating, but
But
then
yeah.
there's hope at the end.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's I don't know. I was very blown away by this movie. I very much, yeah. God, I did. I love this movie.
Yeah,
I love it.
So are you moving it higher or not?
You have that option. You do have 2 picks left yourself, Sam.
I know. I have 2 picks left. Oh God.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to.
You have the 3 and the number 1.
I think I know what Blake will play at number 2. I have a feeling, anyways. I'm gonna go with. Yeah. Okay. I know what I'm gonna go with. Tell me if
Are you leaving it? So you're
Yeah,
leaving the host.
yeah.
Okay, he's leaving the host at number 4. Moving on to number 3, waiting for Sam's choice.
All right. and
We
let me
I think
know-
the movie on that Bong Joon-ho episode we gushed about the most was probably
The Host.
The Host.
Yeah.
Maybe along with Parasite.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Snowpiercer too.
And Snowpiercer.
This one might be another on the fence one.
Okay.
I kind of feel like it has to be played.
Mhm.
I just sent it to Casey.
Interested to hear Blake's thoughts on this one. So at number 3, Sam Lenz has selected Creature from the Black Lagoon.
I know technically it's a Universal monster movie, but it feels different than the other Universal monster movies. It's not derived from a human, it's a fish man from the. I mean, we can discuss this. I feel like if we're doing creature features though, he's literally the name of the game.
Is that your
First argument?
Are you done talking about the movie? or-
I'm not done talking
Okay.
about the movie. I just thought maybe it was up for debate.
I don't think it counts.
Okay.
And we're talking like this is the movie that my dad showed me as a kid, and I love this movie. I don't think it counts personally because it is clearly like a man type thing. I think, but
Fair enough.
I don't. Maybe it's up to you. I don't know. How do you want to play this?
Yeah, how do you want to tie break this, Casey?
Is that what you're gonna do? You're just gonna be the tiebreaker technically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Deep Blue Sea is on this list. Creature from the Black Lagoon should be on this list.
Okay.
This is the one I was thinking of when we first came up with this, because when we were setting up our parameters,
We said
It was
no
humanoid.
This was on my
which
list
is
until
really-
we decided that humanoids were not
Which is
allowed.
really hard, but I think maybe we need to.
Is this not a
decipher-
fish man?
It's Gill Man, but
But
like
Man,
I
we
think
agreed.
The argument is it is not. In the case, I'll throw out another '50s movie. It's not The Fly, where he was a man, then turned into a creature. This is always a creature, just so happens to look.
it's like
has a humanoid body.
Well, then I'm going to test you, and I'm going to veto this off the list.
okay. You're gonna veto it.
I'm going to test
gonna-
you. I'm going to see what you do. I'm vetoing this
Okay,
because, and it's not because I think it's bad. I love this movie.
that's fine.
I don't
that,
think it counts.
that leaves me
Okay.
with.
That's what Blake gets to
Yep,
use
that's
the video for.
that's absolutely fine. Oh my god.
Now you guys can play it at number 1 if you want to. That's up to you.
No, I've got a different
I'm
one
going
that
to
I've got
risk.
number
I'm going to
one.
risk that. So
No, I've got a different one for number 1.
okay.
All right, so
Um,
Blake has
The
vetoed
issue is
Creature
I
from the
know
Black
what you're
Lagoon.
going to play at number 2.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I do.
What are you gonna play, Sam?
I'll admit the 2 movies that I thought were going to be on this list, one was just vetoed off.
Okay.
Because I know Blake loves Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, I do.
Just
It's
fine.
When we did our Universal Monsters episode that Blake could not be on, he was very disappointed where that movie ended up. Even though me and Dom, who were playing the game, tried to get it up as high as we could.
it's fine. It's fine.
So
Someday we'll do a
The
Killer
future-
Count in the
the-
future,
yeah.
and it'll be number 1. I don't know what it's gonna be.
You guys, this is really where it gets dicey because I have.
Oh,
some-
now it gets
No,
dicey.
this is where it gets dicey because now I have some that I definitely don't think belong above the Host or Godzilla, but I've got to play.
go with your heart.
I mean, the one I'm gonna play probably doesn't deserve to be there, but I'm gonna play it anyways. So
All right. It's kind of a. Honestly, it's kind of a spoiler playing this, but I don't care.
I hope I've seen it then.
I guarantee you have.
All right, here it is. Wow. All right, so
Oh,
this
God.
one is staying on the list. At number 3, replacing the all-timer Creature from the Black Lagoon, Sam Lenz has selected Cabin in the Woods.
It's because there's 2 that deserve or that are going to be played in these top spots, and I had nothing else. This was the best one out of my throwouts.
Sam, go ahead.
Okay. Never mind.
You can't.
It's
no,
on the
It's on the
list.
list.
Can I stab
No,
myself?
You
Only
can.
stab
You
only
myself
can.
you
again?
can stab yourself, but then you will not have a stab if Blake plays something you do not like.
I don't think Blake's gonna play.
Trust
something
me,
I don't
my
like.
movie's
Let's
my movie's a banger. You don't have to worry about me.
No,
let's-
I'm not gonna.
I'll
gonna
let you
stab
think.
it.
Give us
God
your
damn it.
spiel on
Okay.
Cabin in the Woods, and then you
So,
can
Again,
So I love Cabin in the Woods.
I do too.
It's one of my favorite movies. It is on every watch every October. There was actually one October, I think it was 2013, where I literally watched it probably 30 times in the month of October. The ending of this movie is so bonkers. It goes off the rails. It starts as your typical run-of-the-mill slasher, but you've got this other, there's a control room, and you slowly start to figure out how this control room and this slasher that's playing out are intertwining. And the ending goes from being a straight up slasher to a balls out creature feature extravaganza where there's, just about any horror creature you can imagine is coming out of the woodwork and causing havoc. It's one of the bloodiest, just free-for-alls that I've ever seen in a movie, and it's one that I was just going to put in as an honorable mention, but now unfortunately it is at number 3 on this list.
Hey, you're the one that has played it.
I know, I just played it. I told you I was between a rock and a hard place here.
All right, so that is.
Yeah,
Cabin in the Woods.
as of now, I love Cabin in the Woods, but
I feel like I should stab this one.
No,
That-
you
this
do.
is all up to you.
No, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna leave it. Cabin in the
Okay.
Woods. I'm
Okay.
sticking to my morals.
Okay.
I like Cabin in the
yeah.
Woods. All right,
All right.
Blake, you have to play what I actually think you
So-
were gonna play now.
Okay, you
A
ready?
movie I was definitely not expecting.
Are you ready, Casey?
I am ready.
Okay.
I'll give a spiel on Cabin in the Woods. I just cannot get into that movie.
I love it.
I
But
cannot.
anyways,
Oh, really?
Thank God Blake has played this movie. All right, so I'm very interested what's going to be number one now. Number two, Blake has selected Tremors.
yeah.
What? That's not what I thought you were gonna play.
Tremors. Tremors is like the perfect B movie. I think it was like 90 when it came out, but it's like it's there's another 80s movie that I think is a great B movie, but like this one is so much fun. And I mean, they're both fun. I'm talking about I'll talk about it later. Tremors is incredible. Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward are like the perfect duo.
Yep.
Like maybe like my favorite on-screen duo other than like Wayne Campbell and Garth Algar. They have so many great moments where they're like shit talking to each other. They're ready to leave this town. I forget the name of it. It's in Nevada, but a shot in California. There's so many great B movie moments in this. The creatures are like have never been replicated in other movies in terms of like likeness or what they can do. And the way that it's shot, the way they attack people, the camera is really is incredible. The way that the movie uses like things in the movie, like props or technology, to suggest they're coming or ready to attack are great. There's a lot of great moments where it sort of like debilitates the characters and how they can escape from these creatures. They're basically these giant worms that move through the ground. There's a seismologist there who is investigating like these weird charts that are happening. Like she thinks that there's a bunch of like earthquakes that are possibly happening. No, it's these giant worms that are attacking people. There's so many great scares. The gore effects are great. Houses and like buildings are torn down. I think at one point a water tower is torn down. They use like a pogo stick at one point to like try and distract them. They use like a truck with no driver. I think the entire movie, like I think it's like 90 minutes long. Just it roars through. One of if not the best Kevin Bacon movies, and has my guy Fred Ward, who I think is just one of the great underrated character actors of all time in it. Victor Wong from Big Trouble in Little China has a scene stealing role. Who's Reba McEntire is so good, and her husband Bert, played by Michael Gross, who has carried the rest of the series, which rules. They have this awesome house that I wanted as a kid, underground basement full of guns, that has an incredible sequence where the worm attacks them because the machine that makes bullets goes off unexpectedly and causes them to the creatures to attack. I think this movie just rules straight through. I love Tremors. It's one of the best B movies ever made, and I wanted to get this as high as possible. I love Tremors.
I love Tremors too, and I'm sick to my stomach that I didn't think of it. I am positively, I did not even totally fucking slip my mind.
Yeah.
And Blake, yes, Tremors is amazing. I have not watched it in a while, which
It
is
holds up.
probably
It
why.
holds up. Trust
Oh, I'm
me.
sure it does.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it in a while though, which is probably how it slipped my mind. I had intentions of rewatching it before this. I'm really pissed that I played Cabin in the Woods now.
Trust me, I am too.
Yeah.
There's now two that I want on this list that one of them's not going to be on. And
That is true.
it's-
That is how this game works.
Yes.
Yes, that is true.
Yep.
Unless you veto Tremors, I could throw something else on there. But if you want to be the guy who vetoes Tremors off Creature
I'm
Features,
not going to veto Tremors off of Creature Features when I play Cabin in the
Cabin in the
fucking
Woods,
Woods.
Sam's getting a hard lesson in
Oh
in
God,
this game.
this game is so tough.
So in my little notes here, I have 3 that can be at number 1 that I think are very deserving of. I'm very happy that Tremors is on here.
I'm so sick to my stomach right now.
Tremors is my favorite creature feature. I love this movie so much. It is one of the most fun series just to binge watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like Blake said, Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward are great together. It is crazy that they've never done another Tremors movie together. Fred Ward was in the second one. Bacon did the pilot episode for that unedited series,
Which he was excited about doing.
and it is crazy that they have not gone on to do that. I guess it's nice that Michael Gross is having the series to himself now with Jamie Kennedy. I don't know. Those are fine. They're fun, but none of them touch this first movie. The Graboids are one of the best original creature designs ever. The practical effects all hold up incredibly well in this movie. It's so much. This movie has so much fun while also being very tense at the same time, which is a very weird tone to balance. But it balances it perfectly. Like one of the scenes, like obviously them on top of anything is very much integral to the movie. But the part when they're on top of the convenience store and the roof is just wiggling, like it's great practical effects in this movie. I love that this movie is going to make the list, but I'm scared of what will not.
I am too. Oh my God.
We'll talk about those in the discards, I guess.
Yeah. So that's the name of the game.
Dang.
All right, so Sam Lenz will have the number 1. You can send it my way whenever
Now I wish I would have
It's
rock
like
paper
picking
scissors because this could have gone number 1. I think.
It's like picking my favorite
Tremors?
child.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It's like
Yes.
picking. Oh God.
All right, Sam.
This is the one.
Perfection is the name of the town, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm very glad that I'm
Okay.
putting all the pressure on Sam now to do this since he
All right.
really messed up number 3.
I really
And that's
messed
okay.
up number 3. I did.
You learn
I
from
will-
lessons.
I will
right?
100.
That's why they're called lessons.
I will 100% fess up that I messed up number
did.
3.
So let's go through the list before we get to number 1. And this will stand because Blake is out of his stab.
Unless he plays another bullshit humanoid movie.
We'll see.
I will. Maybe I can just stab this and put a different one at number 1, and then
All
we can
right.
talk about both of them.
Number 8, we have.
No, you can't now. Oh, I guess you. I
He
guess
can stab himself
I
if he
can
wants.
stab
Okay,
myself.
okay.
I'm not going to do that 2
No.
episodes in a row though. Then
all
I
right.
get predictable.
Yes. So number 8, Deep Blue Sea 3. Number 7, The Mist. Number 6, Peter Jackson's King Kong. Number 5, the original Godzilla. Number 4, The Host. Number 3, Cabin in the Woods. Number 2, Tremors. And at number 1, the greatest creature feature of all time, Sam Lenz has selected John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yes. Okay.
And totally redeems himself.
Okay, so John Carpenter's The Thing is
I'm assuming that's the one.
yes. Oh God, no, I'm not. No, nothing else. That is The Thing. Like that's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
I also heard that he hinted that he'll be working on something regarding The Thing at Fantasia.
I'm sure
Just
he's
today.
scoring some video game or something.
I'm sure, but hey, cool. But
I will be getting my paycheck from the studio.
yeah. So if I know Casey saw my Letterboxd review, I have this thing with directors that I really love, especially ones that aren't making movies anymore, where I will hold off on watching certain ones just so I always have a new something to watch from them, and John Carpenter is one of those directors. So I went to the theater room in my apartment building, which is so cool, and I watched The Thing for the first time.
Ever?
For the first time ever.
What is it, you guys not seeing The Thing?
I
Anyway.
had seen bits and pieces of it, like growing up, but I had never actually sat down and watched the whole thing. And holy crap, this movie is perfect. Like I can't think of a single flaw with this movie. The tension from scene 1 is just there. It's there through the whole movie. It's constant. It's the sense of dread. It has a bleak ending, which I'm a sucker for. And the practical effects, I saw online someone say the practical effects don't hold up, and I don't know what they're smoking. Because
just want to be contrarian. That's all that person
it's
is.
literally like it's one of the best horror films ever made, and I can say that definitively after watching it once, because it's just Kurt Russell. I mean, everybody in this freaking movie. Keith David, like Wilford Brimley. I mean, rest in peace, right? Like, I mean, holy crap, this cast is incredible. And there's not a single player among them that doesn't sell the role, that doesn't sell the terror. The creature design is fantastic. The gore effects are just, oh my gosh. I can't gush enough about this movie. I'm glad I waited to watch it on as big a screen as I possibly could, given this my, living circumstances or whatever. And yeah, I can't recommend this movie enough. I hope this at least somewhat redeems me after number 3. We'll talk about the one that should have been there after this.
Yeah, I love The Thing, obviously. I've seen it many, many times. Bought that new steel case or steel book. Is it Shout Factory? Scream Factory?
Scream Factory?
Yeah.
That's sold out now.
It looks incredible. I'm gonna humble brag for a second. I went and saw this on 35 down in Omaha a couple years ago.
I bet that was incredible.
As a part of a John Carpenter triple feature. It was nuts.
What were the other two they played?
After that, they played Prince of Darkness, followed by In the Mouth of
Nice.
Madness.
Okay, I haven't seen In the Mouth of
Yeah,
Madness.
it's part of an unofficial apocalypse trilogy. All the movies end with like this apocalyptic thing.
Rad.
But
Okay.
yeah, I don't know what else to add about The Thing. I have nothing to add. This movie is amazing. I kind of figured this is going to go number 1. I'm not surprised at all. And I had it on my list. I wasn't going to play it because it was either I was going to let you play it, or I wasn't gonna let it be here because it's like everyone loves The Thing. Everyone knows about it. I don't need to go into much more about why I love it. I'm totally okay with this. It's a masterpiece.
It's one of those movies where it's
It's
what
either-
else do you add to the conversation?
Yeah.
It is.
It's either here at number 1 or it's not here
It's
at
not
all.
on the list.
Yeah.
I think Sam has redeemed himself. This is one of those that has to be on here.
Sure.
I get the cabin in the woods thing.
I get it.
I
get it. It's such a small part of the movie, but whatever.
Yes.
But it's
Sam.
also the best part of the movie, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So let's go to discards and then I'll run through the list one more time.
Okay, can we just get the elephant in the room out of the way?
The alien in the room out of the way.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. The Blob should have been at number 3,
Which one?
the 88 one.
You seen it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we've had this discussion before.
Oh, I thought you said. Oh, yeah. You have seen it.
Casey hasn't seen
Yeah,
it.
you know, listen, I love The Blob. It's incredible.
I thought that's the one you were gonna play at number 2. Because
Yeah,
I know you love
you
that
know-
movie so much, honestly. And that's why I didn't play The Blob at number 3, because I thought, oh, he's gonna want that at number 2 or number 1.
No,
Honestly,
I don't know.
Like you've got.
I have, and I we will talk about The Blob some other time, possibly.
Yeah,
I love The Blob. I think Tremors. I feel
I
like
would agree. I
feel
feel
like-
so stupid for forgetting.
I think
Tremors.
like for me, this is gonna sound maybe really, really stupid, but like The Blob is more of a cult hit,
Mhm.
where like Tremors is more in the zeitgeist and people know about it, and so I think that's what elevates it more for me.
But I
And
think The Blob has also picked up a lot of.
well, then you should have
people-
vetoed yourself.
I should
and
have, yes.
played it.
But that's what I thought. That's what I
Yeah.
did. I forgot Tremors.
But-
Thought you were playing. Mistakes were made.
But
I've learned.
I mean, listen, I have The Blob on my list here. I'm looking right at it. I love it, obviously.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just to me, Tremors has more of the like classic prestige
Mhm.
Creature feature.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I get you. See, and
I love The Blob more. I just think Tremors
Yeah.
is like the one people could be like, that's
well, and when
that's
you,
the it's because for me Tremors is also like a 50s throwback in the 80s, or I guess it'd be the 90s, but
well, and when you say like creature feature, I don't necessarily think the 58 Blob. I think Steve
Well-
McQueen, his cool car. Like to me, the Blob in 88, it shrieks, it has tendrils, it moves in different ways.
yeah, I don't know.
And so I feel like it's more of a creature.
Oh, see, I actually
than
think
in-
like the Blob is not quite a creature
I
in
got
a
you.
way.
I
Like
get
it's
that.
like it is and it isn't for me. Like
Yeah.
and so like I didn't play it. I know you guys were expecting it. Sorry.
I was
Sorry.
very much expecting it.
Yeah.
No, and that's Yeah, no, but that's
Um,
on me.
I'll roll through mine really quickly. I had The Thing on mine. I had Guillermo del Toro's Mimic, which I think is a lot of fun.
I haven't seen that.
I watched it the other night, and it was like, okay, this is good. This is good, but like it takes like a full hour to get to where it wants to be. I had the 1950s movie Them, which has giant ants, which I think is one of the defining creature features. But you played Godzilla, and I'm like, I'm not going to play another 50s movie. This one is not quite horror. I know we sort of like decided that non-horror movies don't count or do count. I had Aliens, which I think is more of a creature feature than Alien for me because there's more of them and they sort of attack more.
I haven't seen Aliens. I've seen Alien.
Oh, Aliens is...
I've heard the Aliens... I think Aliens will be more my speed than Alien was.
It was an action movie.
Yeah.
And then the final one that I love is Cloverfield.
I like Cloverfield.
Is
I
what
like
it is.
10
Didn't make it.
Cloverfield Lane better.
No, get out of my car.
I do.
10
I like,
Cloverfield Lane is better.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like
You
10
also
Cloverfield.
like my car.
But I love Cloverfield.
So, and I thought
Yeah,
Cloverfield
is good.
I thought, and I guess if we want to put the semantics aside, Cloverfield for me is more influential in what it was doing than Cloverfield Lane.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yes.
Okay, so
And as far as a horror movie, it's a better horror movie.
yeah,
Or
so
creature feature.
yeah.
obviously.
So I've watched Cloverfield a few times over the past since it's come out, including last year, and I think it really holds up.
I think the thing that I like Cloverfield. I think the thing that hinders it for me is, like I said, I'm not huge into the found footage.
Neither
think
am
that's
I.
the only-
Neither am I, but I
only
thought it was a
knock
very
on it.
successful merging of the two.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty fair. Yeah, I think it does it pretty well. So my honorable mentions. I almost played Little Shop of Horrors, the musical.
I would have vetoed that right off the list.
Really? Oh, I love that movie.
Even though
Childhood
he's not
classic.
I've never seen it. I don't have to watch it to
Oh,
know.
really?
Hey,
Oh God, I love it. Rick Moranis,
It
man.
is incredible.
I also had
believe you.
Colossal, the Anne Hathaway, Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah!
movie. I like that movie a lot. It's one that it takes a different turn than what I was expecting.
Yeah,
But I
like
very much,
Colossal. I don't love it.
Yeah, that's kind of
It's a
the thing.
7 or 8 for me.
Yeah,
maybe.
exactly. It was one of those that I was thinking about. I had Lake Placid on here. I thought Lake Placid was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because
I don't
Because
like-
it's fun.
giant.
I don't
gator.
like
I
it.
think
As,
Tremors fills that.
I don't like it as
90s.
much as other people do. It's fine. for
Yeah.
me.
I mean, it's not like great by any means, but Oliver Platt's fucking hilarious.
Oliver Platt rules. Yeah.
And one that I had that honestly
Ooh,
maybe I
just
should have
realized
played.
what I should have.
What I maybe should have played at number 3. And the reason I didn't was because it's kind of an on the fence one. Night of the Creeps. Because technically, like, there's zombies in it, but there's zombies because of alien slugs which burrow in. Like, you know.
I've never seen the movie.
Oh, it's
But do
awesome.
they
It's
come
so
from
good.
it's mutated humans?
No, it's
No,
a
it's-
asteroid, right? Like
Yeah,
it comes,
they're
yeah.
well, like, yeah, aliens basically lose this little test tube out of their ship,
Yeah.
and it has these like slugs that basically
Yeah,
slither.
it's-
It's slither.
It's a
but-
creature movie, but like,
Yeah, but it's on the fence, and that's why I went with.
yeah, it's good, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah.
It's one of my personal
yeah.
favorites. but
One
yeah.
I just realized that I completely forgot was The Deep. The Treat Williams movie from the late '90s, where the sea creatures attack the.
Oh yeah.
I completely forgot about that movie.
I was for some reason I was thinking The Reef when you were saying that,
No,
but yeah,
no.
no, the deep is solid.
Yeah.
All right. Is that all we got for
That's
Discord?
all we got.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's all we got.
Yeah. The ones I had were Alien and The Blob were the two I
Yeah.
was expecting somewhere, but yeah. We have quite
I
the-
can't like retroactively snap
I
myself.
think we've hit a lot of the big points here.
Yeah.
You know, we have the foreign film, the 50s creature feature, and 80s practical effects. We do have the fun 90s one, and then there's Cabin in the Woods. So let's wrap up this list. Number 8, Deep Blue Sea. Number 7, The Mist. Number 6, King Kong. Number 5, Godzilla. Number 4, The Host. Number 3, Cabin in the Woods. Number 2, Tremors. And number 1, creature feature, The Thing. All right, excellent,
Yeah,
excellent
that
list.
makes sense. Yeah,
I think it's a good list.
yeah, I do too.
Yeah, it is a very good list.
I think it's
we hit a lot
7/8
the
of a
big
good
ones.
list. And that's
Yeah.
coming from the person
They
who
played
screwed
it.
up 1/8 of it.
Hey, that's how the game goes.
how the
Santa's
game
sleigh
goes.
ends up at number 1 and Cabin in the Woods ends
Yeah,
at
you
1.
know, I have beef about that one.
We'll talk about it. So
We'll talk about that off air.
Yes. Let's talk about the show we've been hinting at in this one,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think we just got to talk about it at this point. So we are nearing the end of the Killer Countdown.
Yep.
As one door closes, another one will open. But this door, we're not just going to close. We're going to blow it the F up.
We're gonna slam it shut.
Yeah.
We're going to slam this damn door shut.
We're gonna shred it like Monsters Inc., which was also one that I considered playing. Not a
Okay.
horror movie,
Yeah,
but
no,
you know,
technically a creature feature, I guess.
technically a creature.
They are monsters
Yes,
after all.
yes. So, but the first week of October, we do not have an official date set
Do you have a location set?
for this. We do not.
This is like Wayne stock, isn't
this
it?
is Wayne stock. We have Aerosmith on this, Pearl Jam,
Van Halen and
and
an
a
old
guy-
man catching a kayak.
yes, and Rip Taylor. We got them all there.
He's a god of my country.
We are going to be ranking the top 20 horror films of the 1980s.
Woo!
As part of
And
this year's
Full
Super
disclosure, Casey says there are 55 films
Yes, yes.
that it could go on this
I
list.
have so in my short list, I have short list of 55.
Oh, God.
That does not include any sequels. I have one Friday, one Nightmare, one Halloween,
Yeah.
and so I have 55 options in that. Yeah. So we us three in this car right now as we're recording. Blake, Sam, myself. Will be joined by Andy from Fat Dude Digs Flicks
Woo.
to be ranking the top 20 horror movies of the 1980s. This will be part of SuperCon Online.
I'm so excited Charlie's asked us to do this.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I've been pitching this idea to him for like a year now, so I'm glad he finally caved in and said, yep, let's do it. Yeah, I'm excited. So this will be online, live, possibly in person too. We're still working on the... I think we can pull it
we'll
off.
be there, yeah.
So if you're coming out to our Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone countdown that we're doing on the main show, it's going to be very much a very similar vibe to that, except we have we're defining a decade here, and the greatest decade in horror, and it's
100%.
I don't think there's any other way we could have ended this show.
No.
There's no other way that we could have done
Yeah,
this. So
I don't think so.
this will be the first ever top 20 killer countdown ever. Yeah, so that'll be the first weekend in October. We're going to kick off the Halloween season with that. And yeah, but that won't be the only episode we do in October. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh,
Yeah.
you already have one planned for another?
We got another. We got
Oh,
something.
I'm super stoked for that
Yeah.
then.
All right. So you guys have any other final thoughts?
I-
We'll talk about it next time.
I
we
don't.
do the show.
I'm
There is another one, right? We're doing another killer countdown.
We have
regular?
one in September, I believe.
You
Yes.
No, is it Andre and
you.
I don't think so. I think it's Adam.
I have no idea.
Okay. Well,
we gotta look.
we
I
gotta
think
figure
have
that
one
out
more in
then.
between.
boy,
Yeah.
I didn't realize what the date was. We're getting close to.
We're at the end of
October here.
August.
Yeah, or September. My bad.
Yeah, so we got one more in September and then another in October. Hopefully, we'll figure out our schedules.
We'll talk about that off air because I'm curious what.
This has been a crazy year. So yeah, this has been the Killer Countdown. You guys have any other final thoughts on the episode, the show, or
No, man.
Yeah,
I think
the
it's.
world?
I think it's one of the top 5 lists we've done in this show.
Barring
Other than
number
that,
three.
I'm ready to go.
it
watch,
is? It's a great
yeah,
list.
I'm ready to go watch some.
some indie film.
Yeah, some horror
Indie shorts,
Yeah.
and there is a few horror shorts. I know that. for
Oh,
a
I thought
fact.
the whole thing was horror shorts, but
There's quite a few.
okay, good.
Sweet.
So yeah,
I'm so
this is.
excited.
You guys want to give any other sign-offs? Buys?
No, I'm not-
you know,
I'm not good at this part. So I'll let
from
Sam
the
Lenz
from
take
the
over.
from the hashtag that has been derived from one of my favorite movies of the year host. Hashtag Happy Spookies, y'all.
Happy Spookies, y'all. For Blake Innithan, Sam Lenz, I'm Casey Kelderman. Spook you later.